All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing how the circulatory system and the respiratory system work together. And I encourage you to look at this PowerPoint that is attached in your resources. You will find Ms. Humphrey's janky video of Cells at Work that is found on Netflix. I highly recommend you go watch Cells at Work, Season 1, Episode 8. It is the circulatory system, and it is an anime. It's actually really fun. So you have this basic explanation and then this more in-depth explanation. These doodle notes are what we're working on today. And I want to just quickly walk through with you exactly what it means to be interdependent, to work together. So I am going to use our draw feature, and I am going to just blow this up here real quick. And remember, Ms. Humphreys is drawing, so I will have our crazy serial killer handwriting. Now, I have done exercise. Oh, excuse me. The first thing we have to do in science is define. So pulmonary means lungs. Pulmonary means lungs. So our main organ in our respiratory system is our lungs. These little bags of air right here. Systemic is a system. It's the whole body. So your body, your limbs, your stems are your systemic. So your heart is the biggest organ of your circulatory system, and it pumps blood to your stems, your legs, your arms, etc. So the important thing that we need to know is that in our mitochondria, remember our mitochondria undergo cellular respiration. Well, we create this waste product when we do cellular respiration, and it's called CO2. Well, this is carbon dioxide, and I don't need it in my body anymore. So what happens is my cells are super, super nice, and they take the carbon dioxide that I've made, they bring it up to my heart, and my heart pumps it to my lungs. So right here in the pulmonary, I drop off my CO2. I drop off my CO2. When my lungs have dropped off my CO2, I'm going to exhale it. I'm going to breathe it out. I'm going to get rid of it. It's a waste product. I don't want it. So I'm going to exhale my CO2. Well, just as it drops off, it picks something up. Well, there's a very important nutrient that we get from photosynthesis and plants that we need to live, and that is called oxygen. So our lungs pick up our oxygen, so we drop off CO2 and pick up O2, pick up oxygen by inhaling it. And once I have given my lungs my CO2 and breathed them out, I've picked up my oxygen by inhaling, it's going to return to my heart. Now, my heart does this really, really cool thing where it goes, oh, and spits all of my blood out to my whole body, all the way down to my little toe, into my fingers, into my brain. My blood pumps so fast into my whole body. Well, when it gets into my body, it's going to drop off that O2 because it's so nice. You're like, hey, thanks, blood. I'm going to take that oxygen. It's going to drop off my O2. Well, while it's doing that, my body is still undergoing cellular respiration. I'm still creating waste. So it's going to drop off the good stuff and pick up the bad. It's going to pick up the CO2. Right where it brings it back to the heart, back to the lungs. And we just keep doing this system over and over and over. So our lungs, when our blood gets to our lungs, it drops off the CO2 and we get rid of it by exhaling. It picks up our fresh oxygen that we got by inhaling. It pumps through the heart and the heart goes, oh, and contracts and spreads all of it out. Once it reaches our body says, oh, thank you so much. I needed that oxygen. It has the oxygen and it picks up the waste and goes back. And this little figure 8 just happens over and over and over again. Now, these two systems need each other. So when you look at circulatory and respiratory, a commonality that they have, a common thing that they have, and remember, I cannot draw on these, so a common thing they have is exchanging, remember it goes in here, CO2 and O2. It exchanges CO2 and O2. Both systems, the circulatory delivers it and drops it off, picks it up. Respiratory drops it off and picks it up, but in its lungs. So our lungs are our biggest organ here, and our heart is our biggest organ here. Well, they both work together to also maintain homeostasis. So remember, homeostasis works to maintain a stable internal works to maintain a stable internal environment. So I need just the right amount of CO2 and just the right amount of oxygen. So these two systems are going to help me do that by exchanging them through the heart and the lungs. Well, the circulatory system also helps deliver nutrients, and it's made of blood. Okay? And our respiratory system exchanges. So this is a basic. All I want you to know is that CO2, picked up in the cells, picked up in the body, dropped off in the lungs. Oxygen is the complete opposite. Oxygen is picked up in the body, dropped off in the lungs. Nope. Sorry, hold on. Miss Humphrey said it correctly, but wrote it wrong. Picked up in the lungs and dropped off in the body. Okay? So, all of this chicken scratch basically means this. Our pulmonary picks up oxygen, drops off CO2. Systemic drops off oxygen, picks up CO2. Cellular transports nutrients, pumps blood. There's a fun thing, regulates body temperature, homeostasis, and our main organ is our heart. Main organ is the lung, helps you breathe, moves CO2 and O2 out, maintains homeostasis. Now, remember your homework is to make a cartoon or a comic strip of this figure 8 process of these things happening. Inhaling, switching, heart, switching. Inhaling, switching, heart, switching. All right. Our help session is from 3 to 4 tomorrow.